Today I'm here with a brand new 2021 Tesla Model 3, and in this video I'm going to tell you how the Model 3 drives and also answer two very important questions. Number one, should you get a Model 3 or Model Y? And number two, what are the changes for this 2021 model? All right, if you're ready, let's get started. Now, before I go for a drive, let me tell you about all the changes for this 2021 Tesla Model 3. And there are quite a bit. So unfortunately, if you're stuck with the 2020, you're missing out on a whole lot of things. Let's start out with the outside first. Now, the Model 3 still looks pretty much the same, yet it looks different, and that's because most of the chrome, especially around the windows, have been replaced with black. Yes, the blackout treatment, just like the Model Y. So as you can see, around the windows, the door handles, most things are now black, and it does really change the appearance of the Model 3. Now this one, since it's gray and it's kind of dirty, you don't really notice it, but if you pick out a color that pops, let's say white or red or blue, the black treatment really does make a difference. So that is number one right off the bat. Also on the outside, the trunk is now powered. This was one of the biggest complaints about the Model 3 early on. People were wondering why there's no powered trunk, and there were kits you could buy to add it on, but now it is standard and it just makes getting things in and out so much easier. So that is also a big addition for 2021. Now up front, the front has also changed and got a little smaller, and that's because the Tesla Model 3 now adds on a brand new heat pump. This is also carried over from the Model Y, and people really have been looking forward to this because the heat pump makes the Model 3 more efficient. And during the drive, I'm going to tell you more about the efficiency of the heat pump and how the Model 3 really gained from it. Now, moving to the inside, there are big changes too. Now, the steering wheel still looks the same. It has that minimalistic look, but if you pay attention, the two scroll knobs on both sides now have like aluminum silver color, right? And it just pops out a little bit. It's really hard to notice, but that is a slight change. Also, what changed is the center console. This is a big upgrade. A lot of people didn't like the previous console with the piano black that had a lot of fingerprints and dust, right? And the wireless charger just wasn't good. This one is now a lot more integrated and it just looks a lot better. First, you could see that the wireless chargers, they have like a felt pad, so it holds your phone much better. And of course, right, it's in place and it just looks more integrated. Now the rest of the console is covered in that synthetic leather, and also you have nice aluminum, and the piano black is gone. There's no more fingerprints, no dust. You don't have to worry about that. And you can open this up and you can see inside there's massive amount of room and two additional USB ports, which is really nice. The cup holders also have been revised. They're smaller, they have a pad underneath, and overall they're much better at holding your drinks. And underneath the armrest, you still have a 12V outlet and plenty of room to put whatever. And pretty soon, the Model 3 will get a heated steering wheel. That was one of my biggest complaints about my Model Y, and also for the Model 3, that there's no heated steering wheel. All the seats, every seat is heated, but the steering wheel is not, but pretty soon, that will be coming. That's pretty much the changes for this 2021 model. Next, let me go for a drive, tell you how this Model 3 drives on the road, how it compares to a Model Y, and also tell you about the efficiency improvements on this 2021 model. All right, I'm on the road. First, I want to apologize for how dirty this Model 3 is. Unfortunately, as you can see on the outside, there's a lot of snow, salt, and it is 15 degrees out. Yes, it's very cold, so unfortunately, all the car washes around this area is closed, so I apologize for that up front. But I think most of you guys know what a Model 3 looks like already. It's a gorgeous looking EV car, and there's plenty of pictures that you can Google. Now, most of you guys know that I do own a 2021 Model Y that I picked up not too long ago, only a few months ago. So I'm very familiar with the interior and the drive, the features and all that. So right away, when you get inside a Model 3, you feel much lower to the ground. This is more like a sedan, right? Because it is. Now on the Model Y, everything is elevated. So if you're looking for more headroom, more space on the inside where you feel more airy, well then Model Y is definitely a better choice. But if you're looking for that coziness, right, you want to feel like you're driving more like a sedan or a sports sedan, then the Model 3 fits that bill much better. As for the seats, they're identical. It's using some vegan leather, which is just a fancy word for leatherette, but they're very easy to clean. The design is pretty good. The comfort is very good. I like it. Well bolstered, also not uncomfortable. I've been driving my Model Y with the same seats for months and it's good. It's comfortable. Now on the Model Y, they're elevated. They're basically on like stands, like 3-inch stands. So you do sit higher, makes getting in and out a little bit easier, right? But Model 3 isn't bad. It's like I said, it's just like a sedan, but it's very comfortable up front and same thing in the rear. Now, one big difference between a Model 3 and Model Y is space, especially when it comes to the second row and cargo room. So I'm 5'10", and look at me in the second row. Basically, I have 1-2 inches of legroom left and about the same with headroom. So it definitely feels a lot smaller and more cramped versus my Model Y. And it's the same thing with cargo room. So yes, this Model 3 does get a power trunk now, and the trunk is fairly big. If you look on the inside, fairly big, and there's a lot of hidden storage underneath. And also, you can fold down the seat to generate more cargo room, but that still pales compared to the cargo room that you get within a Model Y because it's a hatchback. It's more like an SUV, and there's just so much more space back there. And plus, with the Model Y, you can now configure it with 3 rows of seats. It seems like there's no way a third row should be able to fit back there, but it does. Now remember about the heat pump I mentioned, right? And the efficiency that this 2021 model gains. And it's pretty significant. So the range across all the trims goes up about 10 to 15 miles, which is basically free miles that you get within a single charge. So that's nice. Also, 0 to 60 time drops. So the Model 3 is insanely fast. The one that I'm driving today is the long-range dual motor, and 0 to 60 comes in at 4.2 seconds. 4.2 seconds, and this is not the performance variant. And that is actually 0.6 seconds faster than a Model Y. And it's the same thing with range. It doesn't matter if you choose the standard range, long range performance, the range is more, anywhere from like 20 to 30 miles more range than a Model Y. Another big advantage to the Model 3 is that it is cheaper across the entire lineup, anywhere from $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 less than a Model Y. So again, that's also a big advantage to the Model 3. So to answer question number 1, whether or not you should get a Model 3 or Model Y, it really comes down to space. If you need more space, right, you want more cargo room, you want to sit higher and have more interior passenger room, then it's obvious it's the Model Y. But if you're looking for better performance in terms of range and speed and something that costs a little bit less, then the Model 3 is the obvious choice. So it really depends on what you're looking for. Now, what about the drive? Well, the drive is very Tesla, and just like the Model Y, almost identical, except to me, it does feel like you're lower to the ground, right? But besides that, everything feels the same. Let's start out with the steering. Fantastic steering. The thing that made me really love the Model Y is the steering feel, the precision, the weight of it. And it's the same thing with this Model 3. It's identical. Now, in the menu, you can select the steering feel, comfortable or sport, but even in comfortable mode, it's very stiff in a good way. So it's very precise, absolutely no steering play at all. Any little input in the steering wheel, you'll feel it with this Model 3, and that's fantastic. And it just makes you really connected. And there's a really heaviness to it that I enjoy. Now, if you're coming from a Toyota Camry or some other car with a lighter steering, you come in here and you're gonna be surprised and shocked. But once you get used to it, man, you're gonna love the steering. What's also fantastic about this Model 3 is the throttle feel. The throttle feel, of course, it's powering dual electric motors, not a gas engine, and it is using some kind of gear reduction setup for transmission, so there's no CVT or automatic you have to worry about, but it's so linear that it's really amazing. Once you get used to the throttle, man, you'll love it. You'll love it. You know, just any input gives you like instant response. And I'm not even talking about acceleration, just the response time and feel is very, very different inside a Model 3 versus a traditional car. Now, braking is where it gets iffy for most people, and that's because with this Model 3, there is the one pedal driving, which means that there's regenerative braking. As soon as you let off the accelerator, the Model 3 comes to a stop really, really quickly. And this is the one thing that most people coming into an EV car hate. They're not used to it because most cars coast when you let off the accelerator. Not in the Tesla. It comes to a stop really, really fast. But once you do get used to it, the one pedal driving, right, you'll love it because you never really need to step on the brake pedal ever. You just let go and you time it and you come to a stop, and the Tesla Model 3 automatically brake holds, and that's it. I do recognize that's a big learning curve for a lot of people coming in. So I do want to mention that kind of iffy, maybe a negative, because some of the other EV offerings, for example, e-tron and also the XC40 Recharge, allow you to turn that on or off based on your preference. And you can't turn that off in a Model 3. Now, as for quietness, the Model 3 is pretty quiet. I know over the years they've been improving upon, insulation, and this one I'm driving is fairly quiet. I hear a little bit of wind noise from top from this giant glass, right? It's actually separated into two, but I do hear a little bit from up there. But, the sides are very good. Now the side windows are laminated dual pane glass, so it definitely helps with the sound. And overall, it's pretty quiet. It's just slight wind noise from on top. As for the suspension, it's good. It's good. It's a good balance. There's no adaptive dampers. There's no air suspension, not like the Model S or the X. But this one, still very good. Solid footing. When you take corners and bends, it feels planted, mostly because all the weight of the batteries underneath the car. But you know what? Around town, it does soak up most of the bumps. Pretty good. Although the bigger bumps, you will feel a little more. Whoa! Okay, little straightaway. Went from 20 to 60, and man, that's fast. 0 to 60 in 4.2. This is not even a performance, which is like in the 3-second range. Because of the EV car, you get pushed back in your seat, as you guys saw. That was not an exaggeration. That's just the car pushing me back, and you get an instant thrust forward, instant torque, and that's another thing I love about the Model 3. For those of you guys that haven't driven an EV car yet, you get in, you mash the accelerator, and you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. By the way, there's one other change I forgot to mention. I just thought of it, and that's the USB port that was added inside the glove box. So now, if you want to take advantage of Sentry mode, which will record all around your Model 3, you can plug in a USB port inside your glove box, and then you can use a pin to secure the glove box so that intruders that knows what they're looking for, they can't get easy access to it. So that is also another big change for 2021. Now, this Model 3's interior is very, very minimalistic, just like the Model Y. Pretty much the only thing you have is this giant 12-inch screen. And everything, how this Model 3 drives, autopilot, audio, games, range, navigation, anything you could think of is controlled through here. Now, when I first got my Model Y and when I first reviewed it, I thought this would be cumbersome. Like, I didn't really want to fumble around. After a while, you do get used to it, although I will say that there's some things that I still do prefer to have a physical button or knob, right? For example, volume knob, but you can't control volume on your steering wheel, right? So Tesla's trying to get you used to it, right? Get you used to basically not using any buttons or switches, and it's working because once you do, you don't really need it. Now, are there anything bad about this Model 3? Well, there's two things, and they're identical to the two things I hate about the Model Y. Number one is the outside door handles. I can't stand these door handles. I really don't like them. I know how to operate them. I've gotten used to them, but I still don't like it. You have to press in and pull. And for most people, they just don't know that, especially when you're trying to show off your Tesla and someone's trying to get in. And they're like, how do I do this, right? And you know what? I get Tesla's trying to make it so that it's flush against the door for aerodynamic reasons, but man, I wish the door handles were better. And number two is the mirrors and visibility with the mirrors. The mirrors are quite small. Same thing, the rearview mirror, a little bit small for no apparent reason. But I get it, because Tesla wants you to utilize the screen, you know, all the sensors, the camera, basically tell you everything about your Model 3. Something else I noticed that's a change for 2021 that I didn't think about until I talked about the mirrors is the mirrors are auto dimming now. Yes, that is also a new thing. I heard with the Model 3, strangely enough, it was introduced and then it was taken away and then it was introduced. I don't know if that's the 3 or another model I was thinking about, but yeah, that is also an upgrade for 2021. I do clearly see it, and that's a good upgrade. By the way, if you're thinking about buying a Tesla Model 3 or any Teslas, make sure you use my referral link so that you get 1,000 free supercharging miles. So next, let me talk about the different trim levels, the different versions you could buy, also the pricing, and give you my final thoughts on this brand new 2021 Tesla Model 3. As for the Model 3, there are 3 trims or variants. There was a secret 4th one called Standard Range, but that is no longer available. So the base is now the Standard Range Plus, which starts right under $38,000. Range is respectable at 263 miles, and 0 to 60 comes in at 5.3 seconds. It is rear-wheel drive only. Then you have the long range, which comes with all-wheel drive. Range is 353 miles, 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, and the price is under $47,000. Lastly, you have the performance. The range goes down to 315 miles, but the 0 to 60 comes in at a ludicrous 3.1 seconds, and the price is right under $55,000. To conclude, the 2021 Tesla Model 3 received many upgrades that makes the Model 3 a little bit better. This includes a blacked out exterior along with that new power trunk. And of course, on the inside, you do receive a new center console that makes the cabin slightly better. Model 3 provides a fantastic drive by providing the most direct and precise steering you ever felt, along with fantastic throttle feel. The Model 3's instant torque provides insane acceleration while providing the most range when compared to competitors. The Model 3 also provides a quiet and comfortable drive with more tech than you can imagine. The bad includes the one-pedal driving, which takes getting used to, especially for non-EV drivers. The door handles are a pain, and visibility is not as good as it should be due to the smaller mirrors all around. The second row is also cramped for adults, and the Model 3 pales the Model Y when it comes to cargo room. Overall, I'm giving the 2021 Tesla Model 3 a score of 108. To see where it ranks, check out driversonlyrankings.com. Thanks for watching, hit the like and subscribe to the channel, and also check out these other videos.